Hello there, you're now with me, Shao Shamato, for TVS News at 5. Let's get to the headlines. In a move to further boost digital connectivity throughout the state, the Sarawak government is currently in discussion with the federal government to secure its own 5G spectrum.
Chief Minister Dato' Patinggi Abang Johari Tun Openg said that the state government's digital initiatives to transform Sarawak into a smart state necessitate the need for such move. Currently, the 5G spectrum is only given to telecommunication companies like DG and Telecom. However, he pointed out that the companies were not keen to provide telecommunication services in rural areas as demands are low. In view of that, the state government will provide subsidy to manage the spectrum in rural areas with 5G internet speeds.
Now, despite the risks and hazards involved to occupants, some homeowners are still tampering with their electrical wiring. This time, an owner of a double-storey house at Tia Vista, Kota Samarahan, was caught stealing electricity via underground direct tapping cables.
In a joint operation by Sarawak Energy and the Enforcement and Legal Division of the Ministry of Utilities Sarawak, it was discovered that the power cables were still energized even though the electricity supply had been disconnected. It was later learned that there were hidden direct tapping cables connected to the main incoming supply, which bypassed the electricity meter, resulting in low readings. Load readings taken on site showed that the house owner should have been paying more than 500 ringgit per month instead of 250 ringgit. All tempered wirings and meters at the house were dismantled and seized. A police report was lodged and the house owner would be called in to assist with investigations under Section 35(5) of the Electricity Ordinance. Stealing electricity is a criminal offence which carries a penalty of up to 100,000 ringgit and 5 years jail. Homeowners are reminded not to trust any service provider claiming to be able to reduce electricity use or allow premises to enjoy unlimited usage of electricity through meter tampering. Members of the public may report any suspicious activity related to power theft and any service provider claiming to be able to reduce electricity consumption by contacting Sarawak Energy's Customer Care Centre at 1300 883111 or via email customercare@sarawakenergy.com.
To the next update, a growing number of Sarawak merchants are taking advantage of the new retail opportunities at the Sarawak Trade and Tourism Co. or Status Gallery in Singapore. The strategic move aims to provide direct returns to suppliers in Sarawak as well as testing the Singapore market for new export opportunities.
According to Deputy CEO of Status, Putri Rosana, there is a demand for Sarawak products from both Sarawakians in Singapore and local Singaporeans since the pandemic started. 11 companies have so far entered into a retail agreement with Status and offer a range of consumable products and handicrafts. In December of 2020, the opening of retail at Gallery was well received by visitors and achieved sales of over 3,000 ringgit in the first 4 weeks of trading. Part of the proceeds from each sale are returned to the community in Sarawak, thus helping them to alleviate some income losses. Sarawak companies wishing to put their products for sale are invited to visit Status website at www.status.com.sg to register their interest or email zilarahmat@status.com.sg.
Now, the Ministry of Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs, KPDN-HEP, has found that there are at least 25 complaints regarding the issues of cooking oil in Sarawak in 2020 until March 31, 2021. Meanwhile, a total of 4,221 inspections have been done upon premises until April 12, involving a total of 8 cases. Its Minister, Datuk Seri Alexander Nantalinggi, said the ministry will always take comprehensive auditing, especially towards the produce of oil.
The matter was to ensure every produce of subsidized cooking could be accepted among its distributors. Based on records, there are 11 involved in cooking oil packaging under the Oil Price Rationalization Scheme in Sarawak, with a quota of 3,067 metric tons. He said so after alleged reports regarding the issue of subsidized cooking oil in Sarawak. Commenting further, supply of subsidized cooking oil resulted from the dishonest actions from cooking oil distributors according to the set quantity in the market. Therefore, KPD and HEP will increase monitoring on packaging activities on subsidized cooking oil.
Welcome back. Now, more than 18 million ringgit has been allocated for programs and assistance for women and disabled business operators, an initiative by the Ministry of Entrepreneur Development and Cooperatives MADAC, together with the Women, Family and Community Development Ministry. In the statement today, Minister Dato Sri Dr. Wan Junaidi Tuanku Jaafar said MADAC, via its agencies such as the National Entrepreneurship Institute, Tabung Ekonomi Kumpulan Usaha Niaga, SME Corp and Perbadanan Nasional Berhad, has agreed to work with KPWKM to assist the target groups, focusing mainly in post-COVID-19 recovery and in expanding their operations. He added that women business owners are among those severely affected by the pandemic, as most of them are in the micro and informal categories and running businesses that are in the non-essential sectors such as aesthetics, fashion, spa, beauty, event management and wedding planning. Meanwhile, Wan Junaidi also stressed that MADAC is currently focusing on assisting businesses in going digital. In addition, MADAC is also keen to work with KPWKM via PNS to identify women-owned businesses that have the potential to be developed into homegrown franchise brands. Under its 5-year plan, PNS aims to achieve a minimum of 5,000 financing approvals for entrepreneurs, which is expected to expand the franchise portfolio to 700 million ringgit, create 18,000 jobs, and contribute 4.4 billion ringgit to the nation's gross domestic product. On to the next highlight. Now, Muslims in Malaysia should be grateful as most mosques and suraus are opened for obligatory prayers during the month of Ramadan this time. This was different when compared with the situation last year. During the month of Ramadan last year, Muslims in the country had to perform prayers at home following the Movement Control Order MCO due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Walaupun begitu, saya ingin berpesan agar kita terus berdisiplin dengan mematuhi prosedur operasi standard SOP seperti memakai pelitup muka, menjaga jarak fizikal, tidak bersalaman dan kerap menggunakan sanitizer.
Ramadan is a long-awaited month for Muslims as it is considered a month full of blessings and guidance.
Semoga Allah mempermudahkan dan menerima ibadah lain kita di sepanjang Ramadan ini, insya-Allah. Selamat berpuasa.
And in order to increase the country's Wakaf fund savings and assets, an initiative has to be formulated at the federal level. This was to encourage civil servants to make endowment contributions, especially through salary deductions. The Prime Minister said this was among the 4 main points outlined in an effort to ensure that Wakaf becomes an important element in helping the country's economy. In this regard, he said Ministry Secretaries General and heads of departments and agencies at the federal level should play a role in encouraging officers and staff under their charge to make Wakaf donations. Meanwhile, Muhyiddin added the Chief Secretary to the government, Tan Sri Muhammad Zuki Ali, had approved the General Circular No. 1/2020, procedures to implement cash Wakaf donation through voluntary salary deductions for public officers serving in federal territories and states. Now wrapping up the news at 5 today, as Malaysia and New Zealand have reaffirmed their bilateral commitment on defence cooperation. This will be under the Five Powers Defence Arrangements, or FPDA, and the ASEAN Defence Ministers Meeting Plus, ADMM Plus. According to a statement from the Defence Ministry, Defence Minister Dato Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob and his New Zealand counterpart Penny Hinare, the bilateral defence cooperation and excellent cooperation between both countries under the FPDA and the ADMM Plus was important. They also expressed their support to the resumption of active engagements in 2021 between the armed forces, including the conduct of training and bilateral exercises. The statement said that both ministers also discussed the need to strengthen cooperation on cyber security between the two armed forces. Apart from that, both the ministers also updated each other on the current COVID-19 pandemic situation and the implementation. 5. Do not forget to tune in for our 11:30 Nightline tonight. Here with me, Cheryl Shamiato, and I'll see you next time. Have a good evening.